Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So it's been confirmed.
What has?
The coronavirus that's going around, it was created in a virus lab in China.
And how exactly did they confirm that?
I guess by doing their research and investigating all this time.
Seems suspicious that it's been a rumor since the beginning and all of a sudden it's verified fact.
Well,
that they were actually investigating in China amidst all of the pandemic. That seems alarming.
Well, that's how governments work. Everybody does a specific job.
Do they now?
Yep. So, I don't know. I think
we all knew all along that it was manufactured in a lab in China.
But then,
now, the question that still remains is, did they release it on purpose or was it actually an accident?
That's what I was going to say. It's exactly what I was going to say. And if they released it on purpose, why?
I think that's probably the least necessary question. If they released it on purpose, it was obviously to fuck with a whole lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, there can only be one reason you would develop a virus in the first place. Do you not agree with me?
I do agree with you. Yes. Only one reason. So
that is to use as a biological weapon.
Yes.
So then why isn't this thing more deadly than it is? Like, was it a virus they never finished?
Or maybe they expected it to be more deadly and it was a mistake.
Well,
come on now. This is going to sound a little bit terrible, but if it's a product that's made in China, how long does it really last?
Good point. I mean, I had read some crazy conspiracy theory right from the very beginning that the virus operates like a receiver in people's body, so that then the Chinese people can send signals to it and kind of make them feel however they want them to feel.
Oh, yeah, that's just a little...
That's out there. That's like science fiction.
Yeah.
But it just completely and totally blows my mind. Just like, the thing that you showed me today that says that the beautiful government of the state of California, where loon bags go to run for office, they've decided to come up with a $125 million package that will give illegal aliens a stimulus check just like the rest of the country is getting.
Okay, so if I was here illegally and the government was like, yo, come on over here and add your name to this big old list of people who aren't here legally and let's give you some free money, I'd be like, F you and your free money. I ain't adding my name to your registry.
Yeah, it's funny that you would say that. Okay, when we went to the sanctuary state protests, the pro-sanctuary state people said that this was necessary. Why? Why did they say it was necessary? Do you even remember what their argument was?
I've blocked most of that shit.
Their argument was that these people will not report
crimes
to the police because they would have their immigration status checked and they'd be booted out. Now go ahead.
Like, could I go and be like, yo, I'm an illegal immigrant. I would like my stimulus check, please. And they're going to check my immigration status right there, aren't you? If you're an illegal immigrant, you're probably terrified someone's going to check your immigration status.
So,
Why would
okay.
you willingly
so
do
then
that?
why would you willingly go give them your name so you could get a check clearly saying you're an illegal alien?
I don't think they will.
And that's the point. It's the same argument. You can use their argument against them and be like, why would anyone register for that? And what are you going to do with the information once you have it?
Well, and then, okay, so state government makes a big old list, right? They have this list of people they issued these illegal immigrant stimulus checks to. Couldn't federal government just be like, yo-ho, give me the list?
They could sue for it.
Give me the list.
They could sue for it.
This is
but
a
that's
stick
about
up,
it.
give me the list.
They could sue for it, and that's about
Right.
it.
But now that that information exists, there is a scenario where the federal government gets their hands on it and deports a whole bunch of butts.
But let's go back to that whole aspect. Then you say, oh, well, it's taxpayer money. Why should they get taxpayer money? And then they say, well, they're taxpaying people as well.
Are they?
How can they be taxpaying people? They don't have documentation. Once again, same thing. If they're going to be afraid to turn in information to the police because they might have their immigration status exposed and be deported, do you really think they're going to report their existence to the federal government?
Regularly.
Telling them how much money they made illegally in the country.
It's asinine. It's like the people advocating for this aren't capable of critical thinking.
Well, it's all inconsistent because their own argument is they're afraid of authority because of their immigration status. So we as the state need to make it so that it's safe for them. Great. But there's still the argument, why should they get our taxpayers' money when they don't pay taxes? And then the answer is, yes, they do pay taxes. And then the question becomes, well, okay, if they won't report crimes to the police because they're afraid, having a state law to protect them doesn't protect them against the federal government when they file their supposed income taxes.
There was that period of time where my tourist visa had expired and my paperwork hadn't been received yet by said government. And I didn't even want to go to San Diego because there's that checkpoint on the way there that could potentially, once in a blue moon, actually stop any car, one single car.
Yet you did go to San Diego.
But it was
multiple times.
terrifying. No, in that little tiny period of time where my tourist visa had expired. Little tiny period of time. Terrifying. And then we got the A number and it was all good. But I never would have added myself willingly to some registry of people here illegally. Yes, let's just walk on up and admit we're committing a crime.
Yeah, it's...
Put me in handcuffs! Send me home!
It's like the jokes when they have the, bring in your, it's going to be the day to turn in prescription drugs that you don't need anymore at the police department. Oh, and don't forget to bring your meth in and we'll test it for you.
It always makes me laugh.
But I'm sure there's at least one person every time that falls for that.
I'm sure there is. And then they get to turn in their meth, and Jasper is again sitting in Bree's crate. He's sitting over there looking at me from Bree's crate. Sorry, off topic. Now he left because I said his name.
Anyway, I think that the concept that people are going to be afraid of authority, so we have to turn our state into a sanctuary state, and then trying to back that up by saying they pay taxes is asinine. And so now that we've decided between you and I that they likely don't pay taxes because there's no way in hell they're going to give their name, now let's talk about why we would give them taxpayer money.
Well, I have another thing first. Then we can go to your why would we give them taxpayer money. What are they going to do? Have a anonymous, come as you are, get your stimulus check from the government walk-up line? Do you know how many people who would be in that line who are not here illegally? Every homeless person in California would be in that line.
Well, but I mean, exactly. It's not like they're going to not have to have the... I wasn't grasping what you were saying at first because I was like, well, if they had to register to get it, why would they need to have an anonymous line? But you were saying that maybe they would argue that they would just have an anonymous line and pass it out. But yes, then there'd be huge problems.
Right. They'd need a whole lot more than 125 million. And then some people would get in the line 17 times, etc., etc., etc. Okay, now on to what you want.
But if they're the responsibility of another country, let's say they're here from Japan, if they're Japan's responsibility, why is our tax money going to take care of them?
Exactly. You know, I was looking at the Canadian stimulus package, and what they did is they're sending out, I think that their package is $2,000 per month per adult or something like that filed taxes in the same years. And I was looking at it, and you have to be a legal resident of Canada to qualify. So all of the Canadians who are commenting on the illegal immigrants not getting it here, shut up. From me to you, close your mouth. Then people who are outside the country but are still filing Canadian tax returns are eligible for it.
Which wouldn't include you.
No, I know, because I don't file a Canadian tax return. And I'm not a resident of Canada anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a legal resident of somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
no, I was just thinking about what you were trying to say, but you know, that kind of goes back to that episode we had where I was complaining about someone from Canada telling me how things are here. You know, the place where I'm living and dealing with things on a day-to-day basis. Like, likely he would say, if I said to him, well, our downstairs neighbor pounded on the ceiling because they thought we were being noisy, he would tell me that never happened. That's the kind of person he is. But hey.
You do meet the best people.
Hey, you know, rather than beat a dead horse or beat a bunch of illegal immigrants, it made me think of something. Before we went on the air here, I was looking at a video on Twitter. And apparently, you know, as much as I don't know, kind of despise the action, I have to say it's sort of brilliant. So, you know, I noticed, because I pay attention and I try to be fair and neutral, I noticed that early on in this whole thing that Trump, you know, would be, he did a couple things, like he blocked travel from China in back in January, and he was called, you know, xenophobic, racist, etc. by the media because of that. And then I also recall the media producing people who would say, oh, this coronavirus is nothing to be worried about. We should be more worried about the flu than the coronavirus. I kind of still agree with that. Mm-hmm. But that's what was said. And all these things, you know, happened, right? The media set the stage for the fact that they themselves thought that this was a nothing burger. Okay?
Why?
And then they decide, when it starts to explode, they decide to blame the Trumpster for it and say it's all his fault. So what did he do?
What?
He created a video, because there's been every day been a coronavirus task force update every single day. And so he stood up there and he played a video that they created that showed first the media downplaying the severity of the virus. The media criticizing Trump's reaction to it. Then they played how Trump did certain things and the media bashed him for it. And then how they claim that he didn't do enough. So he then played a video of Democrat governors praising him and saying how good his communication has been, how on the ball he's been, how he's been giving them what they need, and that his response has been great. And
apparently he's been besties with Newsom lately. And
then what gets me crazy is he always has to do that narcissist thing that he does. He says, you know, the Democratic governors, I call them Democrat governors, and that's the correct term, by the way. I hate that.
Was it the bigliest virus that any president ever did deal with on his own?
What a dingleberry. Like that guy is like the toilet paper stuck in someone's butt after they wipe their butt. Like that's the true definition of a dingleberry, and he is a dingleberry. He did something brilliant, in my opinion. He presented their words to them, and now they're screaming and yelling, the media, you know, it's propaganda. How dare he play a propaganda video? It's propaganda to take what you actually said and stick it in your face? Really?
I couldn't help myself just now while you were telling your story about his video. I went and I commented on the post about Gavin Newsom announcing his $125 million billion whatever fund. Why exactly would any person who's here, quote unquote, undocumented, willingly add their name to a government list? Now we wait. Now we wait for me to get bashed by all the lunatics in Southern California.
And lunatics there are. But there you go. Trump pulling the major in-your-face move. And then he ruins it with a narcissist moment.
He can't help himself.
It feels that way. It really does feel that way. Like, I don't understand how anyone can truly support the guy. And, like, I don't know who to vote for president. I sure as hell am not voting for Biden.
I would tell you not to vote for a bumbling idiot, but best of luck to you finding one.
I saw a funny meme, and it just said, Bye, B-Y-E, Don, D-O-N. But, man, you know, the Democrats think that Obama endorsing Biden is going to help. But let me remind everybody of something. During the primaries in 2016, Obama endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Uh-huh.
Who won the presidential election in 2016? Wait, it was President. We have President Hillary Clinton now, right? Because Obama endorsed her?
Depends on who you ask.
But that's who we have, right? That's who took oath of office, right? President Hillary Clinton, that's who it was?
Nope.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. But Obama endorsed her. How did she lose? Let's ask that same question. Obama endorsed Biden. Of course he's going to win. There's no way Biden's going to lose. How about this one? Wasn't Hillary Clinton ahead in the polls in 2016?
I wasn't paying attention.
She was ahead in the polls in 2016. Guess who's ahead in the polls in 2020? Joe Biden. Sounds awfully familiar to me.
American campaigning never ends, and it gets really boring and tedious, so I just kind of tune it out at some point.
But it sounds so... You know how you always say, like, people need to pay attention to history because history always repeats itself and you need to learn lessons from it?
Well, yeah, I did. I stole that from somebody much wiser than me. I will fully admit that, but
where
yes,
it comes
I
from?
say
You
that.
say it all the time. And you're not wrong. Here we have a situation where if people were bothering to pay attention to what happened in 2016, they wouldn't be so damned confident.
Well, yeah. People are stupid. Let's be real. People are stupid. The government is stupid. Everybody in the government is the exact same. None of them are different.
I don't know.
So there's that.
I just don't get it. There's not much we can do about it either. We try. But unfortunately, in my opinion, American citizens are apathetic.
Well, yeah. And they find something to get on their high horse about without knowing all the facts about all the things. And then we end up somewhere crazy. And then we just want to go to sleep.
Exactly. Me too.
All right, then. On that incredibly pessimistic note, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.